Swedish, that have insurance which is excellent. And it's reasonably priced, usually for a couple, say 70. I think it runs something like maybe $400 a month, or let's say $5,000 or $6,000 a year. And they'd have deductibles, of course, but not outrageous. I don't have one of those. In some of the countries, they have what would be a basic HMO safety net, excuse me, for people who can't afford $6,000 a year or don't want them. They have plans where you can pay like, say, $1,000 a year and get basic coverage, and it's subsidized by the different governments in the different countries, because there's a lot of poorer people, say Latin America as an example, and each country has some sort of a plan, and it varies. I was thinking of the one that they have in Mexico. It's called the IMSS, and a couple in their 70s probably pay $1,200-$1,300 a year, not a month. And the average family of four, let's say they're in their 30s, early 30s, it's about $400 a year. Now, granted, when you go to the hospital, you go in a ward, you don't get to check your doctor, there's no frivolous things going on. They do have professional staff, but there are doctors who are very famous who freely give their time, particularly for operations, heart transplants and things like that. But medical care, generally speaking, outside the United States is very good, and the dental care is as well. I mean, I've seen people spend $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 for a whole new set of implants that would cost $40,000 in the States. So a lot of people will be moving for medical care alone because they're going to decimate Medicare. I mean, now it's a 20% co-pay, and it'll probably go to 40 or 50 because they're going to take $500 billion out of Medicare for the illegal aliens. And then they were talking about taking another $500 billion out of it to put throughout the rest of the program. So who knows where it's going to end up? That's $1 trillion. But even if it's only $500 billion, that's an incredible sum. So the elderly are going to get it stuck. And so with people who have nominal incomes, say at 65, say a couple is getting $2,500 $2,500 a month in income, say, from a combination of different things. And you can go to a foreign country and live for that. Some are more expensive than others, but probably the most inexpensive place with, I guess you got another question hot off the wire.
Well, I still got
but, the best facilities are really in Mexico. And, Judy when we used to live there, and Judy had a bypass, cost $19,000, including everything. Private nurses, they spoke English around the clock. The room was 1/3 the size of a football field, and the doctors were magnificent. And that's a $125,000 operation in the United States minimum. Now, if you take your co-pay and you pay in the United States, $125,000 is $100,000 paid by the government you got to come up with $25,000. Now, I had one doctor tell me from the States the operation would have cost over $200,000. And so you're better off going to a foreign country and paying cash if you have it than using the medical plan, because you pay more on today's copay than you would for the operation in cash. So it would be a better investment to pay $19,000 instead of $25,000. So these are things for people to think about. And you know, one of the very, very terrible things about the government is there's probably 15 million Americans living outside the United States, and none of them have Medicare coverage simply because they live where they live. And it's a lot cheaper to treat people in those foreign countries, but yet the government doesn't give a darn. They just don't want to pay them at all. But they have no problem paying for illegal aliens in the United States. Pretty long-winded answer, but I happen to know a lot about that stuff. I got a message just came in from hot off the wire from Fred. You often talk about IRAs and other government.
We already did that.
Oh, it's not hot. It's old and it's cold.
It isn't hot.
Is that the one you were reading? All right. Go ahead, my child.
Well, we're just about at the end of the day. And,
oh no, not again.
Don't know. Yes, there's the notice, and well, I guess we'll be back on Wednesday. And 800-375-4188. That's 1-800-375-4188. Get your gold and silver coins here at Discount Gold and Silver, and your complimentary issue or subscription here at Discount Gold and Silver for the International Forecaster. Until then, be safe. Good night, and God bless. Thank you, Bob.
Thank you all for listening. And
they happen to be my views, and, well, for the next hour, they're going to be the views of Bob Chapman from the International Forecaster as we begin to explore what is really going on financially throughout the world today. Now, of course, a lot of what you read in the media is simply put on. The media is paid. People are paid a great deal of money to lie to you. The economists are certainly all getting money from universities, for government, corporations, and 93% of them will tell you that sending our jobs overseas, sending our factories overseas, this is a wonderful way, of course, to strengthen our economy. Just get rid of our jobs, because all these new jobs that are going to be created, of course, will be better paying jobs, but where are those better paying jobs? Look around you, ladies and gentlemen. Do you really think that we have better paying jobs? And of course, we don't have better paying jobs. We have 40 million manufacturing jobs. They can all be done better overseas than they can here in the United States. And the whole program of outsourcing and sending our jobs overseas is simply a vehicle of lowering the living standards here in the United States and transferring America's wealth to other nations. Part of the globalist, the elitist plan of lowering our living standards and in this country and raising living standards throughout the rest of the world. And, of course, this is part and parcel of this whole program. Basically, they're going to destroy our pension funds. They're going to destroy our insurance policies. They're going to destroy our currency. And the thing is that these people are not stupid. They know exactly what they're doing. Well, of course, you're going to be now talking and listening to Bob Chapman, who's been sounding this alarm almost, even longer than I have. Hi, Bob. How you doing?
Well, pretty good, and it's nice to be back. We've been away for a week, and a lot of, very interesting and exciting things happening.
Well, why don't you tell us about some of those things?
Well, there's not too much I can tell you about the medical care plan, except that it'll decimate in finality Medicare, and I saw a survey, 42% of the doctors are going to quit, which means I'm sure that many of the nurses will too. And I think America is going to be in deep medical trouble. And of course, the insurance companies are going to get 40 million new clients, we'll call them. And HMO-type hospitals will do very well, and the pharmaceutical manufacturers will do terrific. And the American public will be euthanized.
And basically, it's all a scheme to ration access to health care for the elderly, but they can't tell the American people that. They have to talk about how we're going to cut spending and increase the quality of health care.